council meeting Thursday, January 6th, is exactly 3:35, 6:35, 6:35,
6:36.
6:36. It's called to order.
Okay. Counselor Gowdy, Counselor Bahoviak, Counselor Stevenson, Counselor Martin.
President, do we have a quorum?
Yes, but I still have to do Counselor Smith. He's absent. It's excused. He's excused.
He's not feeling well. He may not-
Correct.
Okay. All right,
You have a quorum.
all right.
Next is remarks to public,
on the agenda item.
2 minutes.
2 minutes. Anyone? Remarks of the public on agenda item, 2 minutes.
I hope council be calling with the rest mind. We have 5 minutes. Okay, we did this year. I would like to bring you to articulate, I looked at that page 20. Whatever it was, now,
You said 80-21.
80, oh, 80-21. It doesn't make too much sense to me. In order to authorize the mayor to give consent to the director of transportation for intersection safety improvement at the intersection of Euclid Avenue, US 21, Delmont Avenue, Superior Avenue, US 6, Emily Street, and along Euclid Avenue, US 6, at the intersection of Holyoke Avenue, Belmont Road, Windermere Street, Rosemont Road, Lee Boulevard, and Bernadette Avenue in the city of East Cleveland, and Carter County, and declaring the emergency. You have all of this concocted in your preamble. Your preamble must be specific and stipulate whatever. You're going to do Euclid Avenue, all of these other, this stuff, all this other stuff should be in the body of the legislation, not in the preamble. The preamble, you give permission to the transportation, director of transportation, intersection safety, and then you may put Euclid Avenue in the preamble, but all of the other would come in your whereas the other streets, etc. Your preamble, according to the charter, not me. The charter says it must have one subject matter and clearly state. That's the charter. And I have said this time and time again. And you're not following the charter. You're violating the charter. And that's what the laws are violated. And you need to tighten up on things. Let's do it in this year. Please, follow the charter. And there was something else I had some questions about. Yeah, I'll just leave it there for now, but I'll read it at the end of the meeting. But it was in reference to using money, and I know you start telling me that I start tracking the money allocated, I think it's in community development for the civic center to pay that lot. Now, I know state and federal money, they always have directors how to follow their money, how to spend their money, what you can spend it on. And if you do not, you deviate from that, if you're violating that the grantor that granted the money to fix trade thing, which they stipulate how the money is to be spent. And what is to be spent on. So you cannot take money and use it, grant, and use it for something else that was not allocated to be spent on. Secondly, what you can do is contact the grantor and ask permission. If they say no, you must spend it where it was allocated to be spent on. So I would hope that we follow the norm this year. And so we don't get ourselves in trouble.
I appreciate that. Madam Law Director, when we get to A 21, would you elaborate?
absolutely.
Come on, Gerald.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hi, how are you?
My name is Gerald Silvera, 2203 Boulevard. My question is regarding resolution 8521. My question is, what is, does this bid take into consideration the dismantling and scrapping of the current elevator? And if it does, is whatever the scrap amount, is that being reduced from the overall cost of the cost of installing the new elevator system?
Okay, we'll get to that too. Who can respond to that from the administration?
I have no idea really. That was the bid. It's a unique specialized company that does elevator repair. In fact, there are very few elevator repair companies in this area, and that's the only bid that they got.
No, my question was, the current elevator, all that metal is going to have to be taken out and scrapped. So who's going to get the value of that scrap? Is the city going to receive the value of the scrap, or is that company going to receive the value of the scrap?
Can you address that, Joe?
That I'm pretty positive that's not part of the deal that the city.
That's a lot of money sitting there out there in that metal.
So what is your acceptance of that, Charles?
My assessment is that's not a common practice. My understanding of somebody installing, just because there's material that's in a building that, you're getting rid of the materials. Oh, so not to say it doesn't have any value, but for the client to say, the client can say, okay, you can just leave us the scrap and we'll leave it out in the parking lot because we know it's a value. We could do something, but then you have this,
Removal.
all this, exactly. So now you have this scrap in the parking lot because we believe it has some value, and then we have to remove it. So those are the elements that you don't, though it may have some value at the junkyard or the scrap yard, it probably doesn't have enough value to go through holding offset holding it in our area, and then we're trying to take it down there and try to get, whatever it may be. You have to put a value on it first to know even if it's worth the trouble of taking to the scrap yard. They say they could say we give you $5,000, $10,000. Not saying that's chump change, but a $235,000 project, you have to ask yourself, is that worth going through the trouble of doing that? I'm not saying it isn't, but I can tell you that is not part of the deal, that we will keep the scrap of removing the elevator, and they'll what they do with it, whether they sell it or not, that's really not none of our, I don't say none of our business, but whatever they do with it, but we trying to get a new elevator, so.
And the cost benefit analysis, it would not be to our benefit to handle over the removal cost or versus the amount of scrap value that might be forthcoming.
So who we,
Council makes those decisions. That's
who
what
we
it's
go
called,
to
the
find?
city- city property.
I think Mr. Ian just told you that wasn't part of the deal.
Yeah,
But when the time comes, I can easily ask the contractor, hey, don't get rid of this, I had to have somebody else come out and assess how much this metal, this scrap costs, right, to evaluate it. Cause they may not give me the true cost, right? The contract. So I had to get somebody else to come out here and tell me how much is all this metal worth?
Another option might be to simply ask a scrap
Right.
company
Come out.
whether they would come out and pick it up and get it for you.
And take it, yeah, and they take and
So who would do it? We don't, the council doesn't, do it. Who would do it from the, how would you do it from the administration standpoint?
I mean, the work ain't done yet. I mean, again, it's our
So we
material.
got time to
Yeah,
get
it's
it.
our material. So yeah, we have to like come out now and take a look at it and say, oh, this shaft is you worth, I don't know, whatever, you know, and then we'll have to, the mayor and myself have to assess whether keeping this stuff, you know, selling it, is it worth, is it a cost benefit doing?
To answer your question, it's not
Not
in
in
this
No,
box.
it's not in there.
Right, and it would be an independent cost
Exactly.
and another assessment
Yeah.
by another entity.
Thank you.
But if we could save
Okay.
money, and if we can save money or whatever, because, you know, even though that they tearing it down, it's one price, but the way that you have the money, when it's done, it's factory, with the time and stuff, that could be money.
Similar to getting rid of cars, right? I mean, you can sell it to a scrap yard, but they could easily turn around and sell it for something else. I mean, that's just part of the nature of, you know, getting rid of disposing of stuff. Somebody they have a better market in terms of selling things. They have the clientele to sell that types of things too. So, well, yeah, we could do that. That's not a problem.
So can we have an answer to that within the next 2 weeks?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Thank you. Let's move on. Reports and announcements of the mayor.
Well, in response to Mr. Severa's, I'm sorry, to Mr. O'May's question, in terms of the intersections, that is the way that ODOT sent the sample legislation in the manner that they wanted to me. They did not put all the crosswalks in separate pieces of legislation. They said there's 10 intersections, 10 crosswalks that are going to be done by virtue of ODOT. Paying for it.
Virtual Ohio Department of Transportation.
Yes, they're gonna do it. They're gonna put the crosswalks in. And to do 10 pieces of legislation is, I think, not really cost beneficial. What we got was how they wanted this legislation. The way
This
they
is how you
wanted it.
wanted it?
This is straight from ODOT. And I just copied it.
So what you're saying,
Voted them. Go ahead, council. Go ahead, Mr. Over.
so what you're saying is that what they're gonna do is pay for a trust.
Yeah, this,
Because this doesn't tell us that safety improvements is so vague. And I would never vote for safety improvements unless I had some idea of what the proposed safety improvements would be.
well, it'll be safer for the children and have crosswalks that are seen.
I gave everybody back. Earlier this week, talked about what they want to do. They're gonna put up the hand, they are going to cross. They're gonna put an
One of the
island.
small sheets.
Yeah, I gave it to everybody. They're gonna put an island in the road so that people are not caught. Right now, where people are caught on Euclid, they can't cross and they can't get out of the street because of all the traffic. They're gonna put an island so that people aren't trapped in the middle of the road. They're going to, and I don't know if you've seen what they have up on Taylor. Right there by the outlet.
Where they have the signs and.
Right, that's what they're gonna
Something like
have.
that.
That's the same setup that they're gonna have in these 7 areas off of Euclid Avenue,
Thank you, Councilman.
7 streets.
Thank you.
And I have some more in my car for you, they just don't identify these Cleveland streets, but they
Right.
give you an idea of what's going to happen.
Mr. Chairman, you did not answer the question. My question was that if that's what you said, you could say, in the preamble, the crosswalks would be stuck.
So it's gonna be more that's crosswalk.
Let me just think. Then you would, in the body of the ordinance, the resolution of the passage, it would include whereas, in your whereas, would include other areas. But in your preamble, according to the charter, and that you cannot refute, you must obey that. Says one subject matter, and clearly stated, and all you have to do in this piece is say, crosswalk, or for the safety or whatever, of the children. That would be in your preamble. Then you would include all of the other streets in the body of the language, and you have the same identification. But you
Except
must
you-
follow the charter.
Except elongated. But there's a deadline, and if they don't have this passed by the middle of January, then we don't get the contract. You know, it just-
Well, I'm not telling them not to pass it.
But this has been going on, this has been going on for almost 2 years now.
Yeah,
So we shouldn't be on the deadline.
She's got the floor.
We shouldn't be on the deadline, because this has been going on for 2 years.
So where are we?
So,
Corinne, the Holy Act, God, where are we at this point?
we just need more, like recently, Councilwoman Quinn, he showed us the details and how it's supposed to be, but it's not really detailed on paper. Because once you pass something, it is what it is. If it's not detailed on paper, just like you showed me, and it's going on 2 years.
If the council.
It's not
doesn't-
detailed.
If the council doesn't want to pass it, then they can reject.
And they said not
We never
pass it.
said we couldn't pass it, but it ain't detailed.
But
what
I mean,
they're asking for is a
it's-
rewrite.
A rewrite, right, tell
And
us.
and a
specific-
rewrite can be done, like Mr. Mays is saying, but it can be the initial in the preamble, and then what is gonna happen. A, this is gonna happen.
Right.
B, this is gonna happen.
I'm
So that's
sorry.
all.
I'm sorry, if I could give it, if you could send me a sample, I'd be happy to incorporate it in. All right. Okay.
Please stay on
Thank
top of it.
Okay,
Thank you all.
I'll
Thank you very
await
much.
the sample and,
How much time we have?
we don't have any.
We don't have much time, right?
Well,
Right.
it should have been detailed.
Well. you know,
Better
we
than what
can-
it is.
all right.
Well,
I
this is the
remember
sample they
Corinne
gave.
giving us that form. I remember reading. So, we need to get it done. So,
Yeah, and
okay, all right. Make sure whether that we get this done. Okay.
I'll await any suggestions and incorporate them into the legislation once I get it, and send it back to the, council.
But we need to have that passively in this month, right?
Yeah.
Because the middle of January.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's up to council, whatever they send me, I'll, cut and paste into the legislation.
So how precise is that middle of the month? Because Monday was the 3rd, and 2 weeks after that would be the 17th, which is technically after the middle of the month. So what is?
I'm
that
thinking
when-
January 20. What is the date that they gave me?
When's,
Yeah.
Tracy, when is the next council meeting?
15, 14, 17, 18.
The 18th. You could pass it as an emergency on the 18th. Yeah, you're fine.
Right,
That's why it's an emergency.
so we can get it taken care of by 18th, is that correct?
Yep.
Thank you, Ole and Gerald. Okay, the receipts of communication, anything in that area, Tracy?
Nope.
Okay. Report for council committee. Every. Next schedule, you said the next schedule meeting, Tracy, is when?
The 18th.
January 18th.
You have a calendar up there.
Yeah. I see it. All right, let's go to legislation.
All right.
All right, the first, go ahead.
Resolution number 0821, a resolution authorizing the mayor to accept the bid of and contract with 3D Moore, 2150 Noble, East Cleveland, Ohio, 44112 in the amount of $160,225 for the paving of the Martin Luther King Civic Center parking lot, 14801 Shaw Avenue, East Cleveland, Ohio, 44112, utilizing proceeds from the Community Development Block Grant CARES Act funds, requested by Community Development and sponsored by Juanita Gowdy.
Now you just said your name, what's your pleasure? First read. What's your-
Yeah,
You want to say anything about it?
Yeah, I would like to say something about this.
Okay.
We had some leads came in and he's the lowest bid and he's been waiting for a while for this to, come to pass because we had it in my committee for a while. So I took it out my committee, it's right here, on the agenda. So, I'm looking forward to move forward on this because, the parking lots do need to be done.
Okay, so I guess, I made a note of January 18th, then voting on 18th. Okay,
But I thought we had some other funds besides the funds.
well, I don't know, Charles, is any other related funding
So
before?
I know we did the correct money. Okay, Mr. General.
What's the question? I'm sorry. Can you
What
repeat
did
the
you
question?
say?
I said, I didn't know it was gonna be the correct money because at the time when we asked to do the citizen, it was like out the general fund. But it was going-
It is.
Is this CARES Act money
This
here?
is the community development CARES Act money.
Oh, okay, all right.
There's two parts of CARES Act money that was distributed last year.
That's right.
One to the city itself, directly to the city, and one went to the community block grant. They had their own separate part of CARES Act money, and that's what this is.
So we should be okay for the 18th, passes on the 18th?
The money's there.
Yeah, the money's there, okay, that's what I need to know.
All right.
Let's move to the next one. Okay, the next one is yours too,
A lot of these are Ms. Gowdy's.
Go ahead.
Resolution 6521, a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a 2-year contract with the District Advisory Council, the Cuyahoga County General Health District for public health services for the city of East Cleveland, Ohio, out of its general funds for the years 2022 and 2023 in the amount of $82,752 or $6 per capita for 2022 and $91,027 $6.60 per capita for 2023 calendar to be paid in equal semi-installments for the 2 respective years, requested by Mayor Brandon King. This was sponsored by Juanita Gowdy and co-sponsored by Council of the Whole. This is a second read.
Councilwoman Gowdy, you want to say something about this?
Yeah, we already discussed this, and, I think we should move forward on it. Contract that we can enter into, advisory.
Okay, I'm looking at the bottom, it says place 12/7/21 regular council in the first reading, this is place 1/6/22 special council meeting, second reading.
Yes,
See it?
this is second read.
It's the second reading.
Yes.
I'd like my name added as co-sponsor.
All right.
Okay. Let the record reflect, Dr. Green, who had to add it as a co-sponsor.
Yes.
Okay, anybody else?
And you need to take out, Tim Austin, which is his name.
Yeah, we'll take him off, he's gone. Thank you, woman.
Well, at the time he was here.
Yes.
he was the one that's co-sponsor, so we need to take him out of this part.
Well, how do you guys feel, you want to leave me in there?
We can only have 5 people. We
Right.
can't have
Right, you
6.
can't have 6.
So we
If
go.
you want to do something.
We're gonna take him out. We used to be- we didn't
No
pass it
longer
last year.
Councilman Little on there.
Okay, well, we remove him to be on the session.
Right.
So we all right with this? Okay, let's go to the next.
Now you gotta take the vote. You have to make a motion.
You have to make a motion to amend, excuse me, first you have to make a motion to amend, but remove his name.
Yeah.
Somebody make a motion.
I move that we amend resolution 65/21 21, removing the name of Timothy Austin, Counselor at Large, and inserting the name of Christopher Oviatt.
Second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second, okay.
Okay, council, they're saying they can't hear you. You're gonna have to speak up.
Speak up, guys. Speak up. We'll do it again for you.
I move that Counselor Austin's name be removed from resolution 6521 and Patricia Lahoviac's name be inserted into resolution 6521.
Second.
No.
But no, yeah.
Second. All right.
Second.
I did second.
No.
Since you're subject.
All right, let me take the roll.
All right.
Counselor Stevenson,
Yes.
Counselor Bahoviak, Counselor Martin,
Yay.
Counselor Gowdy.
Yes.
So moved.
Now do we move on this as?
Now to adopt. You need a motion to adopt.
Yeah, we move to adopt this resolution.
Second.
Okay, you know, I can't do it.
I move that we adopt resolution 6521.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay. It's been moved and second. All, go ahead.
All right, Counselor Stevenson, Counselor Bahoviak,
Okay.
Counselor Martin,
Yay,
Counselor Gowdy.
Yes.
So moved and adopted.
so it's adopted.
Yep.
6521 is adopted.
Correct. It takes effect 30 days.
Thank you.
Ordinance 6721. An ordinance authorizing the mayor to accept the bid of and contract with Terrace Construction Company, 3965 Pearl Road, Cleveland, Ohio, 44109, for the combined Forest Hill Avenue Water Main Replacement Project between Cleveland Water Department, which share is $289,451.01, and the city of East Cleveland, which share of the remainder is $92,191.74 out of CDBG funds, for a total combined cost respectively of $381,642.75. This is requested community development sponsored by Ms. Juanita Gowdy, and this is the first read.
This is the first read. I'm going to break from, has anyone to say we can move on?
Well, I'd like to
Go
just
ahead,
ask a question.
go ahead.
That's a street I drive down on a daily basis. And
What street is that up in over there? What street are you talking about?
Forest
Fourth Street.
Avenue.
Fourth Avenue? Okay, go ahead.
And this is to repair from Superior to Idlewood. If you drive down farther on it, the depressions on it that are certainly associated with water main, because there's no other reason why there would be huge. I cannot drive from Farmington
Mhm.
onto Forest Hill Avenue without going way around where I should be driving because of the depth of the depressions there. And I get complaints from all my neighbors about that. I'm just wondering why we're only fixing this little bit, when it would seem to me that one would try to do more at once. But it would be cheaper in the long run to fix the whole thing.
Well, I think the issue boils down to we have money to fix the whole thing. Right.
That's what they gave us. Oh, go ahead.
That's all we got funded.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So is it your suggestion that because this is all we have, we do this now and based on what Dr. Bluebeck said?
This is, we have a certain percentage to, put up with the water department. And so we met our percentage. We can certainly apply for more funds next year. But that is
Or
what,
do we do this now? That's my
Yeah,
question to you.
yeah. This, we have the relative proportionate, funding, the city part and then the Cleveland Water Department part. It's like a pro rata thing.
How did the city decide how much money we had to put into this?
They didn't decide, this is what the Cleveland Water Department determines, and then they make the assessment, and then they say what they will do, but there is in their bylaws and rules and regulations, an amount, a percentage, which the city then has to work over.
Can, is it possible And I've asked this time and time again, the possible to get a copy of this completed grant. Because we don't have grant documents that show us anything.
Can you answer that?
What happens is, it's something that our engineering company owns. Goes online and it's like a PDF fillable, and then it eviscerates into the, internet, into the ethernet.
So
And
the
so,
solution to that is obviously to make your screenshot before it goes away.
I don't, but that was not. They don't have a copy of it. I'm sure the engineering firm, if that is requested by council in the future, can make screenshots and do that, kind of like when you're doing your taxes.
One would assume that the city of Cleveland would have a copy.
Pardon?
One would assume that the city of Cleveland would have a copy if they had to give their portion of it.
I don't know if they have a copy. of it.
Where I'm at, for the body, how do we proceed? How do we move forward?
Well, I mean, we can move forward because they already.
I'm after,
The-
how do we proceed with this? Can we vote on this on the 18th or what? Where are we at with this at this point?
The problem is really, I didn't really want to bring this up, but I have an obligation to, the charter says, if it's a first or second reading, there has to be a 2-week interval before anything is passed. This is January 6th,
Right,
and our next date is
it's 18th.
January, and that's not 2 weeks.
It's not 2 weeks.
No, it's not.
So what do you, from a legal standpoint, what do you suggest, Lord Rector?
If we could
Come to the
turn
next one.
everything into emergency on the 18th, then we can get around that rule.
Okay. Did everybody hear that?
In the meantime, can we request copies of the grant?
I think that,
Tracy, can you request
See-
copies of the grant?
Yeah, it should have, all the attachments should have been that whole big packet,
No, they're not.
whatever they gave us.
There's no grant in it.
I think,
I would imagine that the engineer, project manager that works with us would have provided whatever documentation to substantiate the request, the normal request that every municipality has to go through in order to utilize the Cleveland Water Funds. I would imagine it's a routine process, and it should be. We've done this before with Cleveland Water. It's the same process with the Euclid Avenue water. So the process is probably a routine process. It's all about what council is looking for versus what actually is the process. So we have to establish that. We may be looking for something that does not exist in terms of a application or a grant in this particular subject matter.
I know in 1997, when I used to apply for grants in Cleveland State, I used to always have a paper copy. Somewhere around 2011, 2012, they started doing these PDF fillables. And where it would just not be a physical piece of paper that's more, I guess, solacing to a lot of people. It's just, if you fill in the information and you meet the criteria, then they give you the money, the grant. It's not in a tangible piece of paper a lot of times.
So how you know we got it?
They tell you, they send you the award,
Okay, so
Yeah,
you
I
have,
sent an
you
email.
have a copy?
the email that was sent with the supporting documentation.
Well, this is
Yeah,
on the
that
first reading,
email
so.
still does not tell us what this grant is supposed to do, and I don't think we're looking for anything that we shouldn't be looking for, because the council should know what the grant is supposed to do.
So what,
There's nothing here to tell us what,
I hear what Corey is saying, what do we do to get a copy of the grant?
She's asked, I know she's asked, Keisha Chambers before, haven't you, Councilor Stevenson?
Yeah.
And, and I think that Tracy also is
not for this particular thing, but for other things that she has managed to get the grant materials to us.
So for us to move forward, first can you ask people for the grant?
Yes, I'll ask her again.
to Make sure the council people request and get a copy of it. Okay, I would say,
In attachment.
yeah, to all the council people.
That's all my question.
According to what you said, William, we have 2 weeks to pass this, right?
Yeah, but the second time I would suggest everything that is
We want
first
everything
down
to be
the hill
emergency, right?
as emergency, yeah, because, we won't have that 2 week interval.
Okay. So, how do you guys feel about that? Dr. Lewis, Green?
I don't think everything on here needs to be.
Okay, what about this particular one we're talking about right now?
This is fine as long as we get the grant out.
Okay, I will put a caveat on that. If we get the grant, we can act on 2 weeks from now. Okay, let's move on.
Well, we got the grant, what they want is,
But not-
tangible substantiation for the grant.
Right. Okay, are we all right with that? Okay, thank you, let's move on.
Ordinance number 6821, an ordinance to authorize the mayor to enter into a contract with Left Mentor 75 Clover Avenue, Suite 7, Mentor, Ohio 44060, in an amount not to exceed 152,000 in order to purchase streetlight poles, fixtures, lamps, photocells, and transformer bases to be paid out of a combination of general revenue and CDBG funds, and declaring an emergency for the public health, safety, and welfare. Requested by Service Department, sponsored by Juanita Gowdy.
Value, 618 here, the president.
We didn't really talk about this and, you know, bring what goes up and then, on the next quickly,
So is everybody
You have to
all right
speak.
with 6821?
Yeah.
I would just have a question.
Go ahead.
I mean, I agree that this is an emergency and I will vote to pass it. But most of the time when we're spending money, we have bids on things. And I'm wondering why that isn't the case on this one.
these are the lights and stuff that they already have ordered, and they keep on the back.
Go ahead,
That
Kareem.
doesn't tell me anything about why.
First
there's no-
question is,
There's no bid because this is old material. If you look at these documents are dated back to 2020, and we need new documents. This is, and based on what I've seen, we keep going with the same company. There are several companies that have these lights and have the capacity to move these lights to us. But we need to go out for bid. And we didn't go out for bid, so we just keep using the same old documents to keep giving the same company the money.
I mean, if they're doing the work,
Mhm.
and if the light is going to be official that people can see, and I don't see nothing wrong with it, because if they're still doing the work and the lights are still good, this company is still good, I would go with the same company.
so you
But
know,
I'm all right with the company, because we need some lights.
I understand we need lights, but when you get over a certain amount of money, this is government and you're supposed to have three bids.
I mean, if it's the same company, they already probably have the deals together.
Each time we work with them, there should be
little bit.
in the bid process.
Charles, where are we at in terms of the bids on this particular situation here? No bid? So what do
So
we,
how did the company come about, if we using the same company? we don't do?
Because they came on in 2020.
Okay.
Pepco is a very popular known manufacturer of streetlights and fixtures in this region, so it's reputable, so it wasn't, I mean, and I'm not saying I'm the one who, decided to go with the mayor, knew their product, knew it well, knew it worked. They Blunt, were former general election, so there was a relationship with them as well. So through just known relationships, known to, work on products in the past, it was a decision to go with them. That's all, I can really tell you probably the thinking behind why using Pepco, but
Past experience.
Yeah.
So is the recommendation of administration that we proceed with this?
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody okay with?
Need a motion to adopt?
We-
Well, no,
We need to make
this is the first
sure,
read.
No, this is an emergency.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. We need-
Well, is
This
this
is
A,
emergency.
which one is it? A 21?
6821.
Oh,
and if we
no,
make-
mine says first read.
mine says emergency.
6821?
6821,
The
yeah.
second
Mine-
one.
No, look at the bottom.
Look at the bottom. 6821.
It's in blue. It's marked as an emergency.
That's it. Right there.
First read.
First read.
How do you have a different agenda than everybody
I
else?
don't know, that's what I got. Okay. I can just mark it out and whatever. Just go take a look at it. 6821. Here. 6821 first read, right there.
See, I
Yeah,
have
mine
an
say
old,
first read.
I have an old one that says first
That's how you
reading,
got yours.
and then I have the
Yeah,
current
this is
one that says
emergency.
emergency.
Okay.
I get the current one. It's emergency.
All right. Now I got the new one, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Alright.
Okay, so what do you want to
So
do
we can
with
hold up.
body or
We can
council? What do
hold
you
up
want
on
to do?
this until we can get more detail.
Well, not if we, I'm trying
It's up to
to feel what you, how you feel about it. You guys.
It's up to them.
I don't wanna break the law
All right,
on any item. When you get over a certain amount of money, you're supposed to have a fee. That's all I know.
So it definitely is.
And I think it's $50,000.
That is correct.
Yeah, and this is for $152,000.
so you're saying that this go back off of it?
Yeah,
Need to go back up.
Well,
We
there are
need to
some
do
exceptions.
Well, hold on one second, go
Yeah,
ahead. Wait a minute, well,
Yeah,
you can speak, go ahead.
We need to do something that brings us into the compliance area.
If there are exceptions, we need to know very specifically where in the law it says that we can make exceptions.
The law says that if a company is widely known, respected with past experience, and is uniquely able to provide some unique product and services. And the armatures, the photo cells, there were like 5 different supporting documents. I'm sorry you didn't, I guess.
You have them. You're just
You
old.
have them? Okay, well, there's drawings. This company is just about the top, is the top one in this area. I mean, it's known for its reliability, its accuracy, its excellence in terms of providing this particular service. And I think I know it would pass muster in terms of being an exception to having to go out to bid. If there's a unique vendor in a given area where it would be impractical to have to go out for bid, we know that this is the leader in the industry.
Where does it,
Then,
where does it say that in the?
this is
Ohio?
Survive, I'm telling you this.
No, you haven't given us anything from the Ohio Revised Code. What I need to know is the number from the Ohio Revised Code where it says we can do that.
The Ohio Revised Code says, go with the state of I have a charter says 25,000, but it also says if the state or whatever has more, then you follow the state, which is $50,000. Anything up to $50,000,
Ms. Hammonds
Let
is
me
saying
finish.
that there are exceptions.
anything up to $50,000 that must go out to bid.
Right.
And that's what the
That's
law
right,
says,
right.
and that's what the
And
state.
if you're saying that there's a place that
I'm
says
just-
there are
Hold it.
exceptions,
Go ahead.
where does
All I
it
can give
state
you at
that?
this point right now is my legal opinion, and if you don't want to accept that,
So
then
you're
don't get the light.
opinion will in terms of 6821, we can proceed with this? Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, if it passes, if it doesn't pass, then you're right.
Okay, how do you feel about it, Scott?
But we definitely need these and lights.
I mean, I know you like, we need lights, that's a,
We need
as an
lights,
emergency in
these
the city.
contracts, we need.
How do you feel about it, Dr. Blue?
I think, given the legal opinion, I will make this exception,
Okay,
but I would like to put it on record
all right,
that if you expect me to go on that opinion, you have to give me either something in the Ohio Revised Code, or you have to give me legal precedents, or whatever, and you need to do that within the next few weeks to a month, so it isn't the next time we've got the situation.
We're
You're
gonna go through
asking
this
me to
again.
do the same thing.
I appreciate that, and it's. when
Can you
get
do
the-
that?
When you get the legislation and the legislative request, I'll be happy if you need a legal opinion to supply one. As soon as you get the legislative request, if you have a question, then send it to me and I will provide a detail with case law as well as federal, state, and local law.
I don't
Okay?
think you're understanding me. I
Take
think
your time, go ahead.
that what I thought I very clearly stated, that if you want me to do this time, then you will send me something from the Ohio Revised Code and or references and legal precedent within the next few weeks, so that we don't come up the next time and then ask you again, and you're giving me an opinion that sounds to me like you're pulling it out of the clouds. I need to have something ahead of time.
And that's what I will do in the future.
So
We're
what,
gonna-
what I'm trying to find out,
Few
what,
weeks.
No,
what
no,
she, can you do what she's asking for within 2 weeks?
You mean, you
You
wanna
see that?
after,
Say that again.
I,
Dr.
no,
Moore.
it's illegal for you to, bargain your vote. You either vote yay or nay. And so,
Okay,
I mean,
I'm asking for information and you're telling me you don't give it to me.
I'm saying that you can't,
oh,
you can't, vote contingency. You have to vote yay or nay. And of course, I mean, but you can't change your vote after the meeting.
Right.
That's what I don't want you to do. Okay, I'm happy to send you whatever, but you can't vote,
Right.
I
change
am
your vote.
asking you to do something. I am not saying my vote is contingent on it. I am
Oh, okay.
asking you.
Oh,
to
no
provide me
problem.
with
As long
information.
as you don't think that you can change your vote, if
I
you
will
don't like the
not
legal
change my
opinion.
vote.
Okay,
I will live with the vote I make.
okay, I
But I
understand.
want information from you, and I don't want to have to wait until the next time we are in a comfortable situation.
Oh, okay, because in the future, this will come up again. No problem.
William, can you provide her with?
Yeah, as long as she knows it's not a
Is that okay
continuing.
with you?
Yeah,
And
that's,
I-
that's
and
what I asked for. I never said it was
Oh, okay,
contingent.
and it'll take 4 votes anyway.
Okay, so we ready for 6821, it's an emergency, we will.
You need a motion if
I
you want
don't
to,
know.
if you want to vote on it.
Yeah, is there a motion? You move that we act on 6821?
Yeah.
Is there a second to a motion? Is there a second?
Make the motion.
She make, I'll second,
You can second it, you have to pass it on.
all right. Yeah. I'll second,
You need a motion to adopt. You have to say the whole thing.
you move to that,
I make the motion.
Just start the resolution and move.
right, you move to that, I second, it.
We have a motion and a second
right.
to adopt ordinance number 6821.
6821,
Please call the
call
vote.
roll, please.
Counselor Stevenson,
Yeah.
Counselor Bahoviak,
Yay.
Counselor Martin,
Yay.
Counselor Gaudy,
Yeah.
It's passed. Okay, let's move on. Thank you.
Pass
Thank
it
Thank you.
back to-
Thank you.
Thank
back
you.
to
Dr.
President.
Okay, let's go to the next one, Tracy.
Okay, this one is a first read. Resolution number 7921. A resolution to authorize the mayor to enter into lease or purchase agreements for the acquisition of a Caterpillar Model 272 D3 skid steer loader in the amount of $67,981.24 for use by the service department utilizing general revenue funds. requested by Mayor King, sponsored by Counselor Juanita Gowdy.
Guy, 79, 21 has your, which would your pleasure?
Yeah.
No, it's a first read.
It was the first read. Okay, let's move on.
As long as we're here with this in front of us, this strikes me as very bizarre to say a lease or purchase agreement. One, either you have a lease agreement or you have a purchase agreement, but you don't have an agreement to lease or purchase. You make your decision what you're gonna do, and there's an amount specified, $67,981.24, that
It's a purpose.
if that's the purchase price, then why does it say lease or purchase? This strikes me as very bizarre.
Well, I hear what you're saying, so we need to decide, we're gonna do lease or purchase. What we're gonna do, what do you guys suggest?
I'm suggesting that we don't buy no more equipment until we buy a trailer to haul the equipment around Lawrence. This equipment is not supposed to be driven up and down the road. I see the service department and they do an excellent job, but they do not have everything that they need to get the job done. They need a truck and they need a trailer before we buy any more of this stuff that's going to be beating up the streets worse than it is, because those wheels and the combination of mechanical stuff on that situation is only making our roads worse. It's wear and tear on this equipment that should not have wear and tear like that. And it is the proper way to transport the equipment.
So Corinne Stevenson, what is your suggestion on
My
79,
suggestion
21?
is that we buy a trailer before we buy any more of this stuff that's gonna be driven around the city, stopping at red lights and all of that. This stuff is not supposed to be driven like that.
I don't, Charles, what do you have to add?
I would agree to a degree with Councilor Steve was saying, but I don't know if you drove around other communities, I've seen these. And I like Cleveland Heights, I remember seeing that recently, in Cleveland Heights, and I seen the logo on the truck, you know, the Cleveland Heights was on the street. I want to say, yes, it needs to be driven all the way down the street, but it has to commute to the location
Right.
of, so when it's going a long distance, then it makes sense to be on a trailer, you know.
We have a situation right now, where on Wednesday is my trash collection day, Ward 4. On Wednesday, that apparatus that they already have will be driven all the way up Stanwood and start to pick up recyclables for the Forest Hills community. They will pick that stuff up, drive all the way up Stanwood and all the way through Oak Hill, all the way over to where the park is, picking up recyclable materials on this equipment. And then drive it all the way back down to the city, down here to dump it. This is too much wear and tear on our streets, and it's too much wear and tear on this equipment. That's not what this equipment was made for.
So can we, Roger, we know that we want this, but we need to get, something to carry.
So what is your suggestion, Corinne?
There was, I don't know, some time ago, there was a trailer, I guess, that was left in the service department. I don't know, it was brand new. And it was to carry equipment around. I don't know if it disappeared. It's still there.
Yeah, but, you know, that's, as you mentioned, equipment versus this, that's a big. Yeah, that's a wood, that trailer that they have is not.
It's not
made
for
for-
this?
No.
Okay, well then we need, if you're going to buy this stuff, in order to make it stuff, for you to get the best wear and tear out of it, it needs to be handled in a certain manner. It's just like a car. You can't just take a car and don't change the oil. You gotta take care of it. This stuff is expensive. And you gotta take care of it so that you can get the right amount of time out of it before we can go get some more. At this rate, it's gonna be tore up and we're gonna need some more. We ain't really paying for this.
Well, if we purchase this and we need the other part of the equipment to carry it with, so, that will be why.
How much do you think a trailer like that would cost?
We don't know.
I'm sure you.
But
can
if
get
you
one
want this, you're
used.
gonna have to get the other one.
I'm sure you can get one used.
Yeah, I'm pretty good.
They got fire trucks and everything else.
Very meticulous about these pieces of equipment, so.
You're good at that and finding
Yeah,
equipment.
we'll lay the
Who
message
is-
down.
Mayor King, he can find equipment.
Alright. So what is what is the administration's suggestion in terms of saying that?
But we're gonna have
That's,
to,
but I think
make sure that we vote.
Go
we'll
ahead.
communicate to the mayor, your concerns.
Okay, so
First
let's-
read now.
It's first read, so can you communicate and we'll just go past this?
Right, right.
Okay, let's move to the next one.
Well, I just want to make
Go
it
ahead.
clear that if it says lease or purchase and it doesn't specify.
Let's take
what it is,
let's take care of that right now. Do we want to do lease or purchase? What is your
We did
suggestion?
That's,
The purchase?
Yeah.
I think that
Okay.
is.
That's the purchase.
Okay, let's give it a lease and do purchase. Is that okay with everyone?
That's fine. with
Yeah,
me,
the
but
argument.
This is not.
With some insurance.
Hey, make a note, Tracy, that we're gonna do purchase on it, not a lease.
What you have to do, council has to amend this
So like,
agenda.
we're gonna amend the legislation.
The
Okay, well, let's amend it. Chair over for amendment. Okay,
I move that we amend resolution number 79-21 to remove the words lease or.
okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, let's
Discussion,
go
wait a minute.
ahead, go ahead.
I think that the language in the contract said lease to purchase, so that, now this is the background for the language. In case after 2 years, it becomes kind of, not as fresh and operable, then we can trade it in, we're leasing it, and we can get a better model
So
after
lease.
2 or 3 years, so we say lease to purchase.
So
lease
not
to
or, but
purchase
lease
makes
to?
Perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah, and that's why,
Lease to
and that's
purchase.
why in case, we're leasing it, and then, if it goes for 5 years, then we purchase it. But this equipment, a lot of times, like Councilman Stevenson pointed out, it's not gonna last 5 years.
Right, so
So
if,
we can.
if you meant to
So-
say lease
Or
to
to
purchase,
purchase, yeah.
then that's clear to me. This lease or purchase is not. So I would like to
And change the language.
withdraw my resolution,
Out,
my motion to amend,
okay,
and I would like to move that we amend resolution number 79-21 to change the word or
to
to
two,
two.
okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Now, can I remind the council that in order for the city
To purchase,
to lease equipment that the supervisory board, I believe, has to approve it?
the
Yeah.
supervisory board, we mean that supervisory.
The fiscal
The
oversight.
fiscal
commission.
The fiscal.
has
Like
to
we said.
approve it.
Okay. So where are we at this point?
Yeah, the second reading.
This is the
First read, right?
Right.
Okay, all
We
right,
have a motion on the floor.
okay, so motion, go ahead, Tracy.
No, we haven't, we have a
We do- I
motion.
don't
we
think we
have no
voted on
second.
it.
Have to have a second.
I second it.
Yeah.
All right, Counselor Stevenson,
You're the president.
they made a motion to change or to two.
You can second it, provide the meeting.
Okay.
So, well, someone else
Yeah.
second.
Yeah.
You are the answer.
Someone
This-
second.
I second.
All right, Counselor Stevenson seconded it.
All right,
All right,
thank you.
Counselor Stevenson,
Yeah.
Counselor Bahoviak,
Yay.
Counselor Martin,
Yay,
Counselor Gotti.
Yeah.
All right,
okay, thank you, Omid.
ordinance number 8021.
Right,
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to give consent to the Director of Transportation for intersection safety improvements at the intersections of Euclid Avenue, Delmont Avenue, Superior, Emily Street, and along Euclid Avenue at the intersections of Holyoke, Bellsmore, Windermere, Rosemont, Lee Boulevard, and Burnett Avenue in the city of East Cleveland and Cuyahoga County, and declaring an emergency for the public health, safety, and welfare, requested by Brandon King. This had been sponsored by Timothy Austin.
we lost and going, we need another sponsor. Who wants to sponsor it?
I'll sponsor. it.
Okay, Dr. Blahovic, Director of Chief Sponsor. Thank you. Is there any discussion on this?
Well,
Well, go
we
ahead,
already
Corey.
said it has to be rewritten.
Let's do, can,
Councilman Stevenson, how soon
wait a
can you give
minute.
me, can you give me the changes? Do you, is it? do you
Probably
want
at 4 in the
it
morning, I'll send it at 4 in the morning.
Like you always do. But you want a paragraph for each one of the
No,
intersections?
it's not that, I don't think it's gonna
We
be
just
that.
need to
No, just put it in.
It's just
Oh,
separating it out, that's all. It'll be an A and a B at home. It won't be an item for every street, no.
Okay, and you can also send it to Tracy. That'll
And this is
answer
an
that.
emergency law right there.
Oh,
This is an emergency.
so you guys are not gonna vote on it until the 18th?
Right.
Now.
No, not until the 18th, because you have to make changes.
You gotta
Gotta
make
make-
it.
Okay. Make a note. Okay. All right.
And I also want to make an observation if I may. that
Yes,
This is the way that the ODOT put the preamble, and I just copied it from them, and I thought it was consistent with the charter. And so that's why I sent it up.
Hold that, so we-
All right. All right, so this will be moved forward to the next council. All right. Resolution number 8121, a resolution to authorize the mayor to enter into lease or purchase. This is another one you want to change it to two purchase agreements for the acquisition of a Caterpillar model 906M compact wheel loader in the amount of $103,594 for use by the service department utilizing general revenue funds.
Since this has been fully discussed under the other one, I would like to move immediately. I make the motion that to amend resolution number 8121 to change the word or to the
Two.
word to.
All right, is there a second to her motion?
Okay.
A second.
All right. Counselor Stevenson?
This is the first read.
Oh,
Okay.
Don't we have to vote on the amendment?
yeah, you still have to vote on the amendment.
Yeah.
Counselor Bahoviak,
Aye.
Counselor Martin,
Yay.
Counselor Gotti. Okay. It'll be amended. The word or will be changed to two.
Two.
All
Okay,
right.
all right, let's go to the next one.
Resolution number 8421, a resolution to authorize the mayor to enter into a purchase agreement
Which one are you on now?
8221.
You said 84.
Oh, sorry. 8221, a resolution authorizing the disposal of non-functional obsolete computer equipment that is of no further use to the city to junk scrap pursuant to appropriate health and safety regulations in order to provide for safe access upon city workspaces. This is a second read.
I would like, pursuant to the discussion we had before, to make the motion that we amend resolution number 8221 to specify that we would offer it to pieces for people for recycling purposes or reuse or recycling rather than putting it in the trash.
Go ahead, Charlie. Yeah, go ahead.
Is it the second year?
Is there a second?
No, it has to be
What?
second.
I'll second. I'll second.
Charles was going to tell you the discussion. They've had a great length about these things.
Excuse me, before you go there, Mr. Chairman, you have to amend the resolution because it's sponsored by Tim Austin. And you have to
Well,
have.
he's gone.
So we can amend.
It's going to put,
We're gonna. put
it'll be
it-
Counselor Bahoviak. She's the new chair of that committee.
The right way, if the resolution before you now says Tim Austin, so you have to amend the resolution to.
The whole that
The Hobiak.
is gonna do it.
Well, I don't think you can say that I will sponsor it,
All right.
since I have questions about the,
It has to be moved or whatever.
So what is it, what is it?
You have to discuss it. You have to do that before you discuss. You have to do that before you discuss this resolution. Because it's not right here. Now it says Tim Austin. Tim Austin is not here. That's what you have to do.
So what are you gonna do here? We're 8221.
No, you have to, you tell us that do we have
Mr.
anybody
O'May,
sponsor the
can I
resolution?
chime in? Right now, it's without a sponsor. Is
Right.
anybody gonna sponsor?
That's what I mean.
Let's just wait till next week and we'll figure it out. I'll put it back in committee. Put it back in committee.
If you guys wanna take a look at the end of the hallway, you see all the equipment.
I've seen
Yeah.
some of it sitting there, and I agree, it needs to
Do them, do
go.
it right.
But one of the
Recycling.
problems I've had with the city of East Cleveland for the past 21 years is that things go into the trash that should be
They're not.
recycled. Donated.
I'm sorry, I mean, you can't put like this in the trash. You have to do that, you have to properly dispose of, you have to, that's
Correct.
equipment going to a proper recycling disposal
For
facility.
electric.
Yeah, you can't do that, that's what's in the plan.
Then it should have been clarified in
But can we donate it, Charles?
Yeah, you can donate it.
Yeah, you can, but
Like the
the
library,
question
but
is
it needs to
who-
be done.
I would, you know, I deal with technology myself, which is good. You know, technology equipment nowadays, years ago, yes, it really made sense, but it's so cheap now to buy new stuff. That it's not even worth trying to, the time and effort to get things refurbished for somebody else to use with the cost of technology nowadays is so cheap. It's not worth putting effort into refurbishing. Now, yeah, we could donate it and allow them to, whoever, I don't know, whoever wants to get it. But again, that'd be time they had to spend refurbishing, getting it to a decent place where somebody can use it if they want to use it versus them going out. Monitors cost, you can get a monitor for under $100. I'm not saying that somebody can use it, but nowadays, I mean, so much money in terms of trying to get the kids, you know, up and ready with technology and money being thrown out there from all different sources. You know,
there.
everybody has the right opportunity now to have these pieces of equipment, you know, through some other source that they don't actually need a used piece of equipment. They can get a new piece of equipment.
Well, like they were saying, recycling,
Yeah, we definitely want that.
or
We have a list of all the equipment.
a lot of equipment in the libraries has been outdated and stuff, and they still have sales and stuff, and this person, you know, buying it.
On the library stuff.
Yeah, yeah, so I feel like, you know, whatever we can get out of it, it will help us.
When you do scrap it, you can get some money to scrap them.
So do they put it in detail? So we can get done.
But we don't know. You go and you see what they look at, they evaluate, it, right? And see is this something, you know, like a punch, you know, you see, is this something and how much do I get you? Okay, I look at it, I give you $1. Yeah, that's how much, you know, I think it's worth. But we don't know. till you-
Well, it's
We do
certainly
it at the
worthwhile
library.
to keep it out of landfill.
Right, that's what it is. That was not gonna happen.
And excuse me,
Go ahead.
it does say, pursuant to appropriate health and safety regulations. So the city is going to follow whatever rules, regulations, and requirements that are appropriate. I know they recently got my computer that I had since 2007,
Mhm.
and the motherboard will not work with anything that has a chip or digital configuration today. And that's a lot of the equipment is just inoperable and unusable.
It gets obsolete very fast.
So what company do you use?
The IT director, he found a new vendor. We had one vendor, eScraps. That's what it was called, and he said that now they're charging to dispose of the equipment. We used to go and give it to them, they would give us money. He said now they're charging us. So he found another vendor out Willoughby. I don't know the name of it, but he went out searching for a proper disposal company for the equipment. He said out Willoughby. So whenever council passes dispose of it, he's gonna take it out there and he was going to dispose of it for free properly. This is a
So we just need the name, documentation of the place where it's gonna go, because if we can't use it, we can recycle it. And if we can use some things, but we can't, let's keep it.
Well, the
you know?
same thing goes like with the tires, if I new tires for my daughter's car, and they charge me a disposal fee to get rid of, I said, still good rich rubber. I mean, it's still rubber, there must be some value, but I still had to pay $5 for each tire to get this, to let them take it. And that's what is happening now with us.
That's a contract, and that's what their, policy is, that's okay. But right now, we talking about recycling the computers and scraps that's out there that could be good for us, even though we feel like it's outdated, it might not be outdated to other people. But probably,
So 8221 we put in for me. Correct?
It wasn't.
Right, let's move on. We got three,
well,
four,
we have to
pieces of
really
legis-
find out who's.
we got
who we
5,
gonna
6
give
more
this
pieces of
to.
legislation. Let's move on. Let's move to Tracy
All right,
8421.
84, okay, so 8221, gonna go back into committee.
I
Yeah,
don't think
put
that
it
was
in for me.
necessary. I thought they should stay in regular and just get the information and then move on here in the.
So
full
what is your
council.
suggestion?
That, we
It's
get
not
the
your
name of
first
the
read,
company
right?
out of Willoughby.
No, this was the second read. But all the YouTube videos, this has been discussed at 3 different committee meetings already. And Claude came to them and they're all up on YouTube. So all of the answers about all of this equipment and that is on there already.
And he gave a full
That
list.
wasn't it.
So
So I
if
didn't
you
know.
have-
But he didn't give us the name of the company.
If you have the links to those times, in lieu of putting it in committee, I would go to those meetings.
Yeah, all you have to do, go to every one of the general services. And he was at,
Yeah, send me the links, because I'm not gonna do the searching. I would otherwise have them come back and do, have it go back in committee and do it again.
Okay, in lieu of that, then, it'll stay in regular.
Stay in committee?
No, it'll stay in the regular
Regular,
meeting, and
okay.
then we'll get the name of the company.
You got that, Tracy?
Okay?
well, no, because I don't have a sponsor for this or anything else. So we actually do have to put it to committee
Yeah.
until we see who's gonna sponsor it. Because Austin's no longer here.
Well, who's,
Well, she's on the general.
so do you want to sponsor now? Is that what you saying?
You got to
Okay,
come up with-
That's why it's gonna have to go.
Who wants to sponsor it?
And you don't think that you don't think it's reasonable to, give me the links to the.
Oh, yeah. I have to go through 'em. I'll give you the links.
Yeah, but it's her community.
Who?
Mine.
Okay, all right. You all right with this, Dr. Bowie?
She can't tell us
Tell me
about
what
it.
specifically the bids.
Yeah, she wants to see, she wants to watch the meetings on YouTube first. She wants to watch the meetings on YouTube first before she makes a decision, which is the right thing to do because Claude's on there discussing this stuff.
Well, let's leave it here. Let's go to 8421.
All right. So a resolution to authorize the mayor to enter into a purchase agreement with Ergonomio Home Com Incorporated. Oh my God, what a word. 14611 Sunny Grove, Houston, Texas, 77070, care of Arnold Reception Desks Incorporated, 120 Coit Street, Irvington, New Jersey, 07111, for the acquisition, installation of updated furnishings for city council chambers and courtroom in an amount not to exceed $100,250, utilizing general revenue funds. This is sponsored by Juanita Gotti.
The
first read.
I don't remember sponsoring none of this.
You know,
You wanted it in contracts and properties, yeah.
It was a
Wait,
discussion,
wait,
it was a
wait,
discussion about the courtroom and, tables and, you remember we was telling the mayor that we didn't know that this was gonna happen and he should have came before us.
Yeah, I remember.
And
He took off a couple $100,000.
Now it's all put in.
Yeah, he took off $100,000.
yeah, but it still didn't come before council. That's
So
what we're
what,
saying.
so what do you?
So,
what
since it's no contract, I mean, because it's over the amount, so it definitely need contracts, and we was asking him, did it go out for bids?
So what do you wanna do with 8421?
can't, I have to put it back until we find out more details, because the mayor walked out of the meeting. And he didn't answer none of our questions. that we had.
Does anyone else have any unreadiness on this 8421?
There was a time when I, not as a council member, but as a citizen, asked why we weren't using this money for something else. And the mayor stated that the money came from a grant. And I asked for information, and when I got the information, it said that the grant was for the technology, audio equipment. And it did not seem to be for the furnishing at all. And so my sense was that I got inaccurate information in that committee meeting from the mayor.
So we didn't get no answers on him because he wants that. So,
So now it's saying that it's being funded from the general fund.
Right.
Now you see it's coming from the general fund now. So what do you, how
but
do you
then
guys
he said
feel
the
about it?
parent, no.
Well, you need to read it, spending this money, we just make sure that we got all the keys, got all the I's, and crossed all the T's.
Mhm.
Because we are over the $50,000 threshold.
And
And
this,
I just don't want to get down up on this stuff, and it's easy to do.
and Ms. Clemens gave us a very good explanation of why it made some sense to do something without a bid in a certain situation, which she's gonna give you more details on, and that's fine. But desks, there are a lot of people who make desks. You can't make that argument for a desk, but anyhow.
So what is your recommendation for the administration?
I think there was a detailed listing of the item and how much each costs and, that was laid out, whatever the, council's, pleasure is in terms of remodeling the courtroom. Meanwhile, people come to court and it's kind of discombobulated. I mean, it doesn't present well to, people who are coming in disarray and it's kind of haphazardly thrown together right now.
When the courtroom was remodeled, what was it, 10 or 15 years ago?
I
When,
was here in 2007.
when Sandra Walker was judge, she obtained grant money to make some changes in this room. And I don't remember the details.
I don't need.
That
Yeah, she
was
got
not-
new
that
chairs.
was
She
not-
got new chairs. She got new
Very
chairs.
cool.
And she painted it, and that was about it. She
But-
got all new chairs, which are.
So,
But I did ask, last year during the budget hearing, that was, the, judge, was he gonna remodel it? I mean, I expect for administration to do it, because, he's part of the courtroom. So, I mean, what part do he plays in it? Because he was shocked that it was tore up to the floor.
he didn't know.
He did not know.
That's good.
I mean, we got a wire sticking out.
Yeah.
I mean, we already
And a
know that,
little work.
but we did not do a contract on bids, we didn't know nothing. Councilor Kareem asked to meet with the mayor, and the mayor's supposed to meet here in the courtroom, and we had a meeting. In that following week, the courtroom was tore up, so we had no meeting, no council meeting or anything, so that's how that came about. It's like he was avoiding us, and here we is.
Okay,
Well, it's only a
So-
first
so
read, so do you want it
not-
back in committee?
say that again.
It's only a first read, so,
Yeah, put it back in the committee.
yeah,
Put it back.
Miss, okay, Counselor can move it back to her committee. All right.
Okay, go to the next one.
Resolution 8521, resolution to authorize the mayor to enter into an agreement with TKE Modernization, care of Lou Goza, for the installation of a city hall elevator in the amount of $235,989.86. requested by Mayor King, sponsored by Counselor Gotti.
Yeah, we definitely need the elevator. We've been talking
We've
about
been
it
talking about that for a while.
for a long time.
Yeah.
But we definitely need estimates and bids on, even on that. You know, I need to see no bids on that.
Charles, go
I
ahead.
can speak on bids on this, so.
Okay.
You can, one exception for bidding is if the company is part of what's called a cooperative bidding
Stay cooperative.
state corporate program. So basically, instead of you having to bid everything out that you need, the state or nationally, organization can have all these companies bid for a particular product or service, and if they win, then without doing their own bids, basically all the bidding work has been already done by the state or the national organization. And the government entity can just select that company because all the bidding has already been done. And so the Sourcewell is a national cooperative bidding organization. And it allows government entities to, based upon the bidding they already did, they can select those companies that won the bid. This company is one of the bidders that won for Sourcewell, and the other one is Schindler Elevators. Mainly two big elevator companies, national. So both of them won the Sourcewell contract, and so we're selecting this company. So the bidding work has already been done. So
Okay,
that's
so
that's the
did we
exception.
get some documentation?
You
Exactly.
should.
That's all, no, what we have here does not state any of that, Charles.
Okay.
And so if that's what, if indeed,
Yeah.
this bid is coming through the state process, which I'm very familiar with, then we need, we don't know. Can't remember organization, right? We just need, if that's the case, then we just catch it here and we do it.
Yeah, and make sure,
Yeah.
we get it, so we can, we sit down the next time, we can get this taken care of. We got a long agenda. Okay, so.
I'm
is
sorry,
everybody all
I
right
don't
with that?
always get involved with all the support that goes into legislation, so.
We just need the tax.
Well, we need the county administration, we need the support. Thank you.
I have one other comment
Go
related to
ahead,
this.
go over it.
It said in their document that we got, the purchaser agrees that TK Elevator shall have no obligation to complete any steps necessary to provide purchaser with full use and operation of the installed equipment until such time as TK Elevator has been paid 100% both of the price reflected in this proposal and for any other work performed. At any rate, it says that we agree to waive any or all claims to the turnover or use of the equipment until the money is 100% of the money is received. To me, that sounds as if we're saying that we don't have to know that this works until after we give them 100% of the money. And when I pay for something, I make sure something works as much as I possibly can before they get that last payment. So why would we agree to give them money, all the money, until when we haven't seen that it's fully operative?
Honestly, I understand that language, but I don't, that is bad business. I don't see this company coming in, we pay them, let's say 80%, and we ask them to show the work and they just refuse to show us how it works. I even though it says that, I think it's a lot of legalities that, read too much into. I think they will show us how to operate the elevator. I just don't see, that's just not good business to not show.
But the fact that it's in there, Charles,
Okay.
means that they could do that. And so during this contract phase, the negotiation should be that be removed or amended to reflect what benefits the city. Clearly, that don't benefit the city at all.
So what is your guys' suggestion?
Well,
If they go back and renegotiate that line of contract.
Three-
There's another part of it too, that it says that there's no warranty unless we're using them for a maintenance agreement. And we have no idea how much the maintenance agreement costs. And it's only a year, and it's only if we pay the maintenance agreement. Now, that doesn't make sense to me.
And it should be longer than.
No, we got it.
Right, so, what is your recommendation from a legal standpoint?
As long as you guys don't have an elevator, I continue to be able to get back in my size 10 clothes. So I'll be running up and down the
Well,
steps.
congratulations. I should
So-
move in here so I can get down to the size.
So from a legal standpoint, what is your suggestion for the department? What is your suggestion?
Who negotiated? It was just one of the state contractors, right? Remember the state cooperative agreement, this is their boilerplate agreement, so we,
I
yeah.
mean, I don't know what every city does and what they may, I don't know that, but it's like you said, right then, I'm pretty sure it's a boilerplate standard, but I don't know how to convince you otherwise that we won't find ourselves in a situation where we're, you know, we're being duped or, you know, we're trying to, you know.
Can we at least find out how much the maintenance agreement would be? I mean, that to me,
Can you do that?
We'll work with Charles. He can make a
Or, yeah,
decision
maintenance
whether or
agreement
not
is
we want
important.
to go with this company.
Yeah.
Because the maintenance agreement could be as much as the elevator, and we'd be stuck like Chuck.
So
Like
can you,
the resident said, I mean, the liability, as we talking, thinking about money in terms of even maintenance agreement, but the liability that this, as of right now, not having an operating elevator probably exceeds maintenance agreements even over years, that somebody could easily sue us for probably millions of dollars just because we don't have.
We don't have
ADA.
disability.
and that's why this should have been taken care of before it came to council for a vote.
Would take care.
yeah,
Knowledge,
agreements.
that language for one, and knowledge of the maintenance agreement for the other. Those things should have been clear before you brought it to council for a vote.
So if it was clear and it said, you know, a dollar amount that you didn't, you know, agree to, did we not do it? Because it's.
Well, there was another choice. I mean, what was the other choice?
Where's the other option?
Talk about Shannon over there. We have to propose.
This was the best one,
Mhm.
But maybe we need to see the other option. Because actually it's up to the council to get the job.
so can we get that information so that we can?
I can
we
find
can
out
do
about
that
the,
for
I
now.
can
We don't
find
have
out
enough
about
information.
the language of the contract, that's the, I can find out about the maintenance agreement.
Right, would you?
Another option.
Can't find out about the other.
Okay,
Do you want
so
this
we'll
moved back
put
to
this in
committee?
Put it back in committee. Let's move on. I think it's
Okay.
8721,
8621.
86, okay.
An emergency resolution to accept the material terms of the One Ohio subdivision settlement pursuant to the One Ohio Memorandum of Understanding and consistent with the terms of the July 21st, 2021 National Opioid Settlement Agreement.
And this is where you get the 27,000.
It's up to like 25,000, yeah. It's between 17,000 and I think 21, depending on the percentage.
Can I make a note here?
Yes, go ahead.
This says that this is an emergency resolution, so it says here the third reading. Mine says.
I said first read also.
Yeah.
But the opening says it's the preamble says it's an emergency.
Emergency, right.
Yeah, this is
So
the first
can
reading.
we amend this to
To
an
first read?
emergency?
yeah, I'd ask
Well,
for it to
let's-
be an emergency.
Can we amend it to an emergency?
Yes.
Can we discuss it as is before we do that?
No. You have to, if you're
Uh,
gonna change
may
it,
I-
you need to change it and then you discuss
Yeah,
it.
We
Yeah.
can put the
Let's amend
motion
it.
forth as it is.
Let's amend it.
And then discuss it.
You have,
And then
somebody have to
decide-
sponsor.
So we want
And then
to
decide
amend it for
whether
the
we-
first read. Is that what we're doing here?
Amendment to an
Emergency,
Yeah,
okay.
we're gonna amend it.
Is that all right? All right, okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to state that we're out of the ballpark if they don't get my signature with this legislation by January 11th.
Right.
Okay, we got it.
January 11th next week.
So I move, right,
3 days.
So I move-
5 days.
I move that we revise resolution 8621 from a first read to an emergency.
So
Second.
emergency, okay, second it. Oh, okay, Tracy.
Counselor Stevenson,
Yeah.
Counselor Bahoviak,
Abstain.
Counselor Martin,
Yay,
Counselor Gotti,
Yay.
pass to amend.
okay. So we amended to the emergency, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay. All
now
right.
you want to discuss.
Now, do we have a discussion on this or what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then you go, we can discuss.
Right.
The language in this is bizarre. Now, as a physician, I have, I've worked with drug addiction. I've been trained, not as a specialist, but I've been trained in dealing with drug addiction. And they have terminology in here that just makes no sense in any context that I have ever had, talking about opioid abatement and opioid remediation. These are terms you use when you're being led off the walls or something. And I mean, it says that we have to do things that are consistent with their concept of opioid abatement. Now, if the only way you can do it is within the next few days, okay, but why on earth does it say opioid abatement and opioid remediation? And in the stuff that I got, I see no discussion of what those terms mean.
What do the terms mean?
No, I was not part of the federal lawsuit that resulted in this settlement agreement with Dan Post. Okay, there were a lot of law firms that were up there, you know, at the negotiating table. Obviously, none of them were MDs, but this is what they came up with. They're dividing it between thousands of municipalities. Our portion is 25,000. It's a nationwide settlement. And because Dan Poster had all of the legislation across the country, I mean, all of the opioid lawsuits across the country. And this is the settlement, the exact same language for all these thousands of municipalities is right here. This is what they sent me. And then you go online, you sign it, you drop down you upload the legislation, and you're in the settlement.
Have we thought about what we're gonna do with this money?
That's, I mean, I just wanted you all to get the money. And then that's up to you.
You decide.
I understand that they don't understand that they were right, like you have studied drugs and the dichotomy of the drugs. And so I understand clearly they don't understand, they on the drugs that much. So that's why they talk about abatement. Abatement is correct.
Or land.
Yeah. Yeah.
So where are we at this point? with this?
This is nationally accepted language. All the municipalities have to accept it or do their own lawsuit.
So how do we get to 25,000?
So we will pass the legislation, but it's crazy legislation. I would like to see
More detail.
what they mean. And I didn't find it.
Okay, well, again, we got a 22 days to act on. Is that what you're saying?
Well, let's not ask them, let's take the money and figure that out.
Yeah,
Yeah, so what do we need to do to get to 25,000?
you've just amended it to an emergency, and you could pass it tonight.
Good, let's pass it now, okay.
You have to make a motion.
I move that we accept legislation, resolution number R-2021-86-21. Move it,
Second.
Okay.
Second, go ahead, Tracy.
All right, Counselor Gotti,
Yay.
Counselor Martin,
Yay,
Counselor Bahoviak, Counselor Stevenson. It's passed.
thank you. Let's move to the next one.
8721,
Yes,
an ordinance authorizing the mayor to continue the services for $5,500 of the Cuyahoga County or Cuyahoga Soil and Water Conservation District for the purpose of providing technical assistance in implementing soil and water conservation measures in order to implement the public involvement and public education requirements under the Ohio EPA Municipal Separate Storm Sewer Discharge Permit. This is sponsored by Counselor Gotti.
Randy, we need a sponsor.
It's a first read.
First read?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything we need to do now?
I would like to ask that we get copies of these educational materials that they have supposedly been giving out to people under this memorandum of understanding.
Okay, yeah, they're right. How you, where are you with that? You all right?
This is pursuant to our agreement with the regional sewer district,
Okay,
and it's a requirement. And these ladies do this work, so.
okay.
But one of the things they say in this
It is the
is that there
brochure.
are materials for the public. And
Yeah.
I haven't seen them. I don't know whether my neighbors have seen them. I don't know. if-
When it first started 3 years ago, the ladies brought tons and tons of literature and passed it out. And they're very nice ladies and work down the county, and I'm sure they'll send us, I'll have it sent to council. 'Cause I don't need any more
Yeah.
thousands of brochures about.
Part
So,
of my interest is to see what they're passing out. And part of my interest is to know how they have been passing them out.
And educating the
Yeah.
public. That's fair.
So you have some of this information helping out right now?
These ladies
Yeah,
that,
okay. Mhm.
that do this
Yeah.
every year, this is the PIPE program. It's required by the sewer district.
All right,
$5,000.
Well, we need them to come on back out
Yes.
here and do it again.
you haven't come, you haven't come back to us.
Yeah.
Not before, what's the next?
The next meeting.
is the
No, I mean, come
This
back.
is
When
the
I
first-
say come back, I mean come back.
Oh,
to-
sure.
to demonstrate.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Start to retrain the community.
Oh,
Not-
yeah.
Well, and us too.
For us too.
Us
Yeah.
too, because we need to know what they're doing, because we presumably will think that this is good stuff that they're doing. I mean, I'm making that assumption on the basis of what I know about the organization. So we're presumably gonna think it's good, and therefore we should know what they're doing so that we can fully support and cooperate.
So can we get them out here on the 18th?
No, she didn't need
No.
them right now, but
Right.
eventually, I'm sure they'll set up a public.
She wants brochures.
presentation.
Okay.
Particularly, can we wait till after you think the COVID pandemic will ever be over? I think that right now, a lot of people are working remotely. A
Mm,
lot of people are doing like Zoom, Teams and WebEx kind of stuff and YouTube and making their presentations in that manner. But Councilor Stevenson, if you would, can we just wait till maybe after, you think you'll be able to?
Yeah, that's fine, that's fine.
Well,
It can be in the summer.
So you want-
Okay,
you-
as long as they make their
Do you want to wait till March? Or
No, no.
Put something on YouTube for us to look at.
All right,
Yeah.
No, that would be fine with me. If they put something on
Or
YouTube,
however they present their information.
do something.
Okay, but it's gonna, we're asking that it be passed now because it's a requirement. And then we'll work to get the ladies some materials out
Yeah.
to us.
I have no problem with passing it. Either today or the next time.
It goes on the next, first read, it'll go on the next, yeah.
okay, we all right with that, everyone?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the last one.
Ordinance number 9221.
Yes,
An ordinance to authorize the mayor to enter into a contract with Pepco in an amount not to exceed $173,565 in order to purchase streetlight poles, fixtures, lamps, photocells, and transformer bases for Forest Hill Boulevard to be paid out of a combination of general revenue, CDBG, and declaring an emergency for the public health, safety, and welfare.
Yeah, there's two different pieces. of
Different.
legislation. And I'm gonna
What-
say,
what-
Poles are different.
Yeah, I'm
What-
gonna
the
send
different-
Dr.
What's
Bahoviak.
different from the one that we did about?
Yeah, this is a
Yeah.
different area, right? This is for a different area. It's a different legislation for light poles in a different area.
What was the other number?
6821.
6821.
Yeah.
It's
And
two
this is
separate
like,
entities
by the
here.
time we get done with this is 300.
Yeah, it's two separate,
300, almost 320.
Businesses.
So what area? It doesn't say.
Forest Hills.
Well, the other one is for all over the
This
city.
is for, this one is for Forest Hills Boulevard.
Specifically just Forest Hill Boulevard.
And the other one for 152 is for all over the city, because it gets very dark here. And I have a coworker who's catching the bus in the dark on Shaw Avenue, and it's very dark. We have to be here at 8.
On
It's very
Shaw?
dark. Yeah, it's very
Really?
dark.
Yeah.
That's
I ended up walking when my car was out and.
Yeah.
He
So
said,
it's
I
dangerous.
ended up walking up Forest Hill Boulevard. And between the fact that it needs to have, and whoever needs to hear this, needs to hear this, it needs to have the trees that are down, cleaned up, and the sidewalk needs to be passable, which it is not. But between that and the fact that there aren't any lights, it is very dangerous situation on Forest Hill Boulevard.
That's what
And
we're
I
trying to
will
address.
pass this, I will vote to pass this,
And I'm gonna see you the law.
but on the same condition and.
Not conditions,
Not conditions.
but you know, I'm gonna
The
get it to
same
you.
expectation.
You know, I like to send out law and stuff.
But yeah, I mean, this is my concept of an emergency and has been for a long time. Because I drive down Forest Hill Boulevard and it is very dangerous. And I'll put my brights on because I can't see anything and somebody will come up and I'll have to turn my brights off. And it's a very dangerous
At least
situation.
you don't have to walk.
Well, I have walked on that.
So do we want to act on this right now?
I do.
Let's do it. Okay, go ahead.
I move that we
move to adopt.
move to adopt ordinance number 9221.
Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second. Go ahead, Tracy.
Okay. Counselor Gotti,
Yeah.
Counselor Martin,
Yay.
Counselor Bahoviak, Counselor Stevenson,
Okay,
It's passed. and adopted.
All right, now, remarks and request for the public, 3 minutes.
You all had enough to say.
Goodness. All right, Gerald, go ahead.
Again, my name is Gerald Silvera, 2203 Boulevard. As you may know, I am a member of the Board of Trustees of the Stephen Public Library, but my comments are personal as a resident.
Okay.
Having served as chairman of the audit committee for East Cleveland, one thing I want to impress upon this body is that financial transparency is paramount for good government to operate. There needs to be accountability, transparency between administration, council, and the community. So I hope that all three bodies, the administration and the council, work together to ensure that there is transparency and accountability on how government resources are expended for the benefit of this community.
Thank you.
My final comment is that I've known and worked with Ms. Tracy Ujira for the last few years,
Mhm.
and I know her capabilities and expertise, and I would hope that this council will make her the clerk of court for this body, because I think she's done an excellent job over the years that she's worked with this council, and I think you guys need to go ahead and take care.
Thank you. Elaine, I know you want to start.
You
I
just
gotta
got
get
me
the timer
here
on.
before you Y'all was serious about having you
I
up.
have to put my comment.
Hey,
Thank you.
yeah, bro.
I would like for the council to listen to me peacefully. And I'm going to read something. The mayor may make any contract or person, supplies or materials providing labor for any work in the department not involving more than $2,500 or the amount stipulated by the state law, whichever amount is greater. When any expenditures within any department other than the compensation of personal or employee designated to $2,500 for the amount stipulated by the state law. Whichever amount is the greatest, such expenditures shall first be authorized and directed by ordinance or council. Did you hear what I said? Ordinance or directed by council. So that is the law. That's what you must follow. You cannot change it. That only the people can change that and the state legislation. That's what the card says. And I hope that you adhere to it and follow it. Now, getting back to the charter, not charter, the legislation. You must go through and you must do it public and not behind closed doors. Every piece of this legislation that bears Tim Austin name as sponsor and co-sponsor. And it goes all the way through here. Every piece of legislation you have passed have done, except one piece that you amended, and to remove his name, and all of the other has to be done and redo it over. And not because you're passing something that is fraudulent. He is no longer serving here, and his name must be removed. So you're passing something that he has not given you consent to do. Number two, opium has a laundry list of things. So it doesn't just only cost that opium. I won't turn out any company, but it's a laundry list. You need to look for where it is. Opium. And so, all property of this city that owned by the city is public property. When you auction it off.
Yeah, that's for you.
No, it's not.
It was 3 minutes.
No, because you can auction it off, or you have to give it to non-profit organization. That's the law. You cannot just do whatever you want to. And even with the elevator. It has been brought up. Either you can dispose of it, but it has to be disposed by either a non-profit organization, or it can have for sale. Whoever want to buy it, whatever. That's the way you dispose city property. You just can't do whatever you want with it. So the people can come in and say, what did you do with the elevator? You didn't buy it, you bought it tax. And so that's how you dispose them. Non-profit organization, you must show a 501c3. For that they are a non-profit organization. You just can't just go around and just give it to whoever you want to give it to, or whatever. Those are the ways that you dispose the property. And the chairman, the chairman is new now, well, he's not new, and that's four. You have to have some order in your meeting. You call on people to speak. And then when that person has spoke, you move to the next person. You just don't let one person or two people monopolize the meeting. They have to be recognized to speak. And so, follow what you know, and you do well.
Thank you.
You don't have chaos. You totally discombobulated. And we're talking over each other. Whatever.
Thank you.
That's the way meetings supposed to be.
Okay, Board Director, after year, go ahead.
I want to thank the council for passing the streetlight legislation, opioid legislation, as well as the legislation for the pipe ladies in order to, continue with the dissemination of information that is related to good use of the water and sewer practices, and I will make a point, hopefully when the pandemic is over, to have the ladies come back and make a presentation, because you deserve a full explanation. I know we have a new counselor that would like to speak with them and would like to know the modes of communication that are being utilized in order to inform the public. I know I have an oldest daughter that's a school teacher, and they're back on remote, and she hates that. She's teaching first grade, and she saw one little boy was doing somersaults in the living room. And so it's not a good thing for, us, for the schools and the people that are here to serve the young people and the elderly. They have to just reach them by telehealth or remote education. So I would like to thank you. I will follow up any information that you needed. I will try to get it to you expeditiously. I would hope, I know Claude is that it's within with all that. That's a hazard to have all of that. Would you supplement my remarks about the hospital computer?
I have the answer to where it's going. I want for a record to
Go ahead.
Cleveland Computer Recycling. They're located in Wickwood. I said, will it be there in Wickwood?
Okay.
Cleveland Computer Recycling LLC.
That's where all that stuff is going.
Yes.
That wasn't passed. Is that going back into committee or?
We'll come back to it.
Will it be on the next board?
It'll be at.
Should be if you have the right.
Can it be, and the last thing I want to say is all the second week, because we don't have that 14-day window that is required. We can be put on as emergency, Mrs. Eugenia Peters, or council, if you would agree, yes.
Can we amend it to state where the equipment is going? Between your office and clerk.
Is it too late? I guess you can reconsider it any time. You can reconsider it anytime during the meeting.
But we just want to add where the equipment is going to go.
Okay, in other words, you want to call back 8221, Mrs. Eugenia.
Yeah, because she put that, they put back in committee.
Right.
So,
Put it back into-
yes.
But we didn't have no address.
But now can it be
And we had this.
with the amendment? Who committee is it?
It's in contracts and properties.
Contract and property, it should be amenable.
Well, actually, it should be, I'm sorry, it's general services because it's just,
I
Yeah.
would like to move to reconsider resolution number
8221.
8221.
No, you're not, you must
You do it now.
authorize to go back.
Can't do it now.
You can't do it now?
No.
No.
We'll do the next time.
But it'll come out of committee and go back on the agenda.
Yeah.
At the next
When can you move to reconsider?
And anytime during the
Anytime
meeting.
during the
Yeah.
meeting.
At any time, the meeting
Yeah,
is still
it's
going
open.
Right.
on. The meeting is still
Still
going
open.
on. She can amend it.
Yeah.
The meeting has not been adjourned. And he's come up with the information that was done very diligently and very accurate.
Right, so let's do what we want to do right now. The meeting's still going on. Let's do it.
Correct.
But you have gone to the audience, you must,
I
you
wanna-
need to make a motion to go back into meeting.
We haven't adjourned yet. We have not adjourned yet. We have not.
You have got into.
No, we have not.
Are you going to sponsor? Are you gonna sponsor it? Okay.
Robert Ring of all.
At any rate, as I said, I move to sponsor resolution number 8221
Okay.
and remove it from committee.
Second.
Okay, second. Okay, Tracy.
I got it. Let me, okay. Counselor Stevenson?
Take the motion so everybody understands it clearly. Okay.
Okay, the motion was made to revisit resolution number 8221. Dr. Bahoviak is going to be the sponsor of 8221, and it's coming back out of committee, and it will appear on the next agenda
As an emergency.
as an well, it's a second read, so it's
But
fine.
if we're reconsidering it, why can't we vote on it now?
You could, well, you could change it to an emergency. Now, that's got to be a separate motion. You want to do it right.
Second
But it's a
motion,
second
Tracy.
reading, so it doesn't have to be an emergency.
Right,
So we just.
so you could vote.
Let's have a vote. Okay, go ahead.
No, we had a motion to revisit it, I think.
Right, you
Right.
made a motion.
So you made the, well, like, wait, you have to do each motion individually.
Yeah.
So now.
So
I move
the-
that I sponsor resolution 8221 and move for its adoption.
Yeah. that's what
Okay, you got a
do.
second.
Now you need a second.
Second.
Okay,
Okay, let's move on that.
okay. Counselor Stevenson?
Yeah.
Counselor Bahoviak?
Yay.
Counselor Martin?
Yay.
Counselor Gaudy?
Yeah.
So resolution 8221 passes.
Okay, now do we need another motion?
No, you're
No,
done.
Okay,
You're done.
Thank you.
thank you. Now, we'll start with Corinne Stevens. Your comments from the council people, starting with you, Corinne. Okay, Dr. Patricia Slovak.
As I said before, we have the Little Free Libraries in process, thanks in part to your contribution and primarily, actually, though, to the public defenders. We can build on the strengths that we will have from getting those extra Little Free Libraries if we make sure that we get as many of our young children signed up for the Imagination Library, which gives them free books from birth to age 5. Only 1/3 of our eligible students are signed up. And I would hope that all of us as individuals, all of our churches, all of our committees, all of our, everything that we are associated with will help to go to the literacycooperative.org and sign up every little child who can get signed up to get those free books, because they have good statistics that they help the children learn to read. And that's good. My next more formal action here in council will be to work for the discussion of all the various committees and commissions that we are supposed to have according to our charter, whether it's the audit, or whether it's the historic preservation, whether it's the Citizens Advisory Council. I mean, there's so many of them that, to the best of my knowledge, and of course I haven't been here all the time, we have not been having fully functional. All of those organizations help bring transparency and accountability to the city, and all of those help all of us in government to function well. So I'm hoping that we can work on that. But thank you very much.
Thank you, Donnie.
Yeah, I want to thank each and every one of you coming out tonight, and I just want you to know that we have passed some things that need to be passed tonight, and I really thank you, Bill, and thank you, Charles. Thank you. I really want to thank Tracy and you know, working so hard of getting this ready for us, and I just want to give you your flowers now.
Where's my flower?
Thank you so much. You know, working hard, you know, and thank Martin, you know, very good, you know, so continue keeping up the good work, okay?
Well, I would say that listening is very important. I think everyone,
And team,
this, go ahead, I'm cutting you really off.
it's okay.
I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. This was a long meeting. We got a lot done. Excuse me. Let's move forward. Okay.
Teamwork.
The chair take a motion for dismissal.
So moved.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you, for your